Hey everybody, welcome back to day two of the Mood Mindfulness Challenge in March. I bought a shirt yesterday specifically for this challenge. Positive mode on, okay? So we are tackling how our moods affect us and how we're going to be mindful of how our moods affect us and how to hopefully process them or flip them or reframe them so that we're more in charge of ourselves and not our emotions are in charge of us. So I asked you three questions. I asked you a question. Notice three things in nature that really, really give you that sweet feeling in your heart. And I love, you guys have already started commenting. I love them. I love them all. Thank you so much. And I'm going to comment under each and every one of them because I found so many similarities between us. So really love that. And that ties into the whole unity, right, of the quote that Deepak Chopra said, how we're connected. We're all connected, everything. I see myself in all of life and I see life in me. Kind of, that's the gist of that quote. So I wanted to share my three things. So my three things were, so many actually, but what I chose are clouds, love clouds, the moon, love the moon, and roots. I know, crazy, right? So I want to show you what I have happening here on my kitchen bench. This is my love for roots is a little bit like crazy, and I just wanted to show you here. This is a sweet potato. Look at this. Okay, look at that root, baby. It is amazing. Okay, now off the sweet potatoes, you pull this, stalk out and stick it into water, and then it creates more roots, right? So I've got all these little leaf like springs growing. This here is an avocado grown from the seed. So it starts off looking like this. The seed splits. Can you see the split there? So that one, nothing's come out yet, but it has split. Can you see? Yeah, there we go. Split. And then what happens next is it sends out a shoot, right? Just like that. So each of these has a root growing. Okay, this one split a bit more. The root is coming. You can see it starting to come. This one as well. All right, and this one, she's sending her root down. Can you see? Okay, so I've got a little bit of a fascination with roots. I'm going to bring you over here. This is the elephant ear that I have, and I've grown her from a seed. And here is the seed. And she sent out one root, which just absolutely went viral. And she sent out a stalk into the water and then came out and produced these three, right? So that one seed produced roots and produced plant life. So that is my fascination with roots. That's how far it's come. So I thought I'd explain to you what my fascination with roots is. So roots is, I guess roots is reminding me of growth. On the surface, roots look like, it looks like the plant is not doing anything, right? So when you look at the top of a tree, the top of a plant, the top of a bush, it looks the same as it did yesterday. Or if you look at my avocado seed, it just looks like nothing's growing out of it. But underneath, there's roots. Underneath, there's growth. Underneath, there's expansion. Underneath, there's so much work happening. And for me, that's really important because sometimes in our life, we don't feel like we're doing anything. We don't feel like we're going anywhere. We feel like it's just the same thing day in, day out. But the fact of the matter is, so much is happening, so much growing, so much learning, so much absorbing, so much integrating, so much healing is happening. So many communication, like relationships are being formed, so much giving and taking communication between you and other people. So I feel like roots is like the unconscious, what's happening inside us. We don't know how much we're growing, how much we're really affecting, how much we're impacting. And then when the big thing happens, they're like, oh, there we go, there's the progress. But really, there's been progress all along. You just didn't see it. So for me, roots reminds me of that. So, and the reason why I have it in water is because sometimes I look above the line, above the, the cup, and I'm like, nothing's happened, nothing's happened. But then I look below in the water, so much is happening. And it reminds me, so much is happening inside me, underneath what I don't see. There's so much I don't see than what I do see. So I find that roots are a great way to remember when I feel like I'm stuck and I'm not going anywhere, and what the heck's the problem, and why is it, why am I stuck? I remind myself, roots, there's so much that's happening underneath the surface that I just have to trust. So that's my fascination for roots. The next thing is the moon. Okay, so I love the moon. What I love about the moon the most is the fact that it changes, right? I love that it's like no moon, so you're like, where's the moon? And then it's bigger, 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 and it reminds me of my potential. So I could be at a stage where I'm not doing anything, and then I do a little bit more, and you can see a little bit of progress, and then I do a bit more, you can see a lot of progress, and then you just do so much that it's a full moon. It's like, wow, this is my full capacity, right? And then it starts to wane. Wax on, wane off. So the fact that it wanes means that everything that's massive must come down. So it always reminds me, like, it keeps me level-headed. Like anything that's successful right now, it does fade after however long it takes to fade. All right. So it reminds me that that's just the way that life is. You have your 15 minutes, or you have your 50 years, or you have your 100 years, and then everything starts to fade. It also reminds me of emotions. So emotions are like an energy cycle. Emotions start off, they peak, and then they come down. So I know that in the middle of a really, really hard emotion, I know that I'm experiencing it at the full moon. It's going to start getting easier. I just have to wait for it to come down and back to neutral. So that's my love for the moon. It kind of reminds me that we can grow, and then we can also come back to neutral for us. The third thing is clouds. I have this absolute fascination with clouds. So clouds for me, I can remember as far back as a kid, just sitting on the grass watching all these strange shapes in the clouds, calling things that I see, making up stories. And the interesting thing is what I could see, nobody else could see. And so that reminds me of my uniqueness. Clouds always remind me of uniqueness, that I can see things through my eyes and through my point of view that other people don't, but it doesn't matter because I still see something amazing. And for me, that is really comforting because I'm here for myself. And when I get given like a task, when I get given a vision, and nobody else can see it, then it's for me, right? It's up to me to bring that vision into real life, like to manifest it into physical. You can see it out in the clouds, you can see it in your head, you can feel it in your body. Nobody else can understand that. So it's up to me. If I really am connected to that vision or that dream or that goal, and I can see it, I can feel it, I know it's really good and it's going to be good for me, good for my family, good for everyone else, I know I can take the steps to manifest that dream that I see. And the clouds remind me of that. The other thing that the clouds remind me of is like, they're so, cumulus clouds are so huge, right? And then what happens is that after a little while, you lose the face, you lose the shape, it kind of changes, and it goes, phew. So once again, it reminds me of emotions, how emotions can just be so big and so I can't control it. This is going to consume me. Remember the steps of how to deal with emotions, and I'm going to start adding things into the guides here to help with that, especially during the month of March. So when our emotions seem like they're about to consume us, we remember, acknowledge them, acknowledge that they're here. The first thing that's going to help us is acknowledge that the emotion is here and not ignore it, deny it, suppress it, repress it, right? Acknowledge it, allow it to surface. Give it a name. Hello, I'm sad. This is sadness. Sadness is speaking to me. Know that every emotion has a message to give you, and it's a message plus energy. So take the message, let the energy go. And energy goes back into the ether, back into the morphic field, back into the universe where it comes from. It does not live in our bodies. When it sits in our bodies, it becomes trapped, and layer upon layer of emotion and energy imprints on the physical body and starts to create pain. That's what chronic illness is. Physical energy that is now trapped inside bones and tissues and cartilage and all that stuff that is now creating disorder and dysfunction in every organ and allowing the organ to fail. Totally different subject. So, remember your emotions, take the message, let the energy go. So that is how, tying it back to what's the point of finding three things in nature? Finding three things in nature is really important because that's how you connect. So you see how, you see clouds. What is the function of clouds? You see how it's an aesthetic in the sky. You see how it provides a shade for us. You see how it provides rain for us. Clouds have a reason to be here. Everybody has a relationship with clouds. We're all part of this universe. Roots. Everything we eat that is plant-based comes from a root. Roots sustain us. Roots sustain the plants. Plants sustain us. We're all part of a universe. It's all part of respecting and loving each other and loving other, members of the universe, as well as things that are here in the universe for us. They provide us with beauty, trees and flowers and scenery. And so, roots make plants, and plants are part of our life, oxygen, all that stuff. It's part of our universe. And the moon. The moon gives us light at night. The moon helps us figure out, what part of the month it is. When it's the full moon, it's the middle of the month. When it's the new moon, it's the beginning of the month. When it's coming off, it's the end of the month. So it helps us measure time, basically. If some civilizations measure time through the lunar calendar, some through the solar. So, so I hope that helps. I hope it helps that everything here has a function and a purpose. Everything in nature does, and so do we. So I hope that helps to connect you with your own purpose and your own meaning. And I hope that by sort of coming out of your own problem and focusing on something bigger, that you know how much we're connected and how much we're here to be part of a community, and how much you impact others. And even though people impact you, you're able to take it one step forward and notice how you can regulate yourself and how you can then continue to impact the world the way you want to, living your meaning and your purpose. So thank you so much for joining me, everybody. I really enjoyed reading your responses. I enjoyed explaining. Never thought I'd explain roots and clouds and the moon so eloquently and what they meant to me. So yeah, thanks for the opportunity. And I'll catch you tomorrow for day 3. Bye now.